Mr. Scott's World, Curse of Oak Island review, take 2. I'm telling you, we gotta get someone to do that.
Yeah, you can do that. Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Welcome back.
We're back with another review for the Curse
of Oak Island.
There you go. This is season 8, episode 13. Last week we didn't do one because they didn't have a new episode last week. It was just another. We just had a rerun last week, so nothing new. So this week we're at episode 13. It was more of the swamp and money pit. I don't know if we want to call it the money pit. They haven't found any money yet, so
I know.
It seems so.
I don't know why it's called the money pit.
You know, they keep saying there's gonna be a pit of money.
It should be called the pit.
Yeah.
Just name it the pit.
They haven't even found a pit yet. They just keep drilling holes and finding nothing.
But the small holes like these should bring like 300 excavators and you dig a big circle and then be like, okay, there's nothing there. Move on.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't dig.
I think it's because of the pandemic and the restrictions going on.
No, I think it's because I know they want to put in the case on, which is usually I think like like an 8-foot diameter circle. I think they dug them in the past seasons, but they couldn't do that this year. But I think they should go bigger, like get some, like you said, excavators in there and dig it larger. I'm sure they probably worried about safety and stuff.
Yeah.
Just digging a giant hole in the middle of an island is a little unsafe, but it's hard to find anything when you're digging these little tiny holes everywhere. Anyways, they did some more drilling at the money pit area, and this week they found like a ton of wood.
They don't know what it might be, though.
Yeah, they're gonna keep going down further to see if they're in the side wall of a tunnel. If they keep getting wood, the further down they go, then they're in the wall of one of these tunnels from previous searches. But that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
It looks like by the preview next week's episode, as far as the money pit goes, that they supposedly finding some kind of beams or a lot more wood. So they really think they're on track to find this supposed money pit.
Supposedly, who knows?
And the other part was mostly focused on the swamp.
The swamp.
And the various times they brought, like, what's that guy's name? What was it? Carmen Lay? They brought the trunk lock, they called it, some kind of a locking mechanism. Was it double? What was it called? Double locks on it, and then they found what do you call it? An eye bolt, like a really big eye bolt. And supposedly they found some of those years ago. Another searchers found a bunch of them, but this was the first one that this group of people found. So again, by the next week's preview, it looks like Carmen Lee says it's for a mooring for a boat or something. That's what he thinks it is.
Could be for something like no one should be touching, or
it could be for anything. But it was kind of cool how they found this big O-ring, or not O-ring, but like this locking thing in the middle of the swamp. And it was truly just really preserved, and that's because it's made out of iron. I guess it doesn't rot that fast. I don't know how old it would have to be, but it looked like it was just made yesterday. So that was kind of cool. And then they're finding other little pieces of wood and stuff like that. They think that they're working on this pathway or driveway or whatever you want to call it. And they said they dug underneath it, and there's some kind of, what do they call it, cribbing, which is basically something to hold the rocks. So when whoever built this road put the rocks on, they wouldn't just sink into the ground.
Yeah.
So they were finding a lot more wood under the rocks, and it's taking it's pretty tedious. They get all these archaeologists out there digging by hand, because they're trying to preserve everything intact as much as they can, but it's taking a long time just to clear all these rocks off to see what it actually looks like. And so far, it's pretty impressive for whoever did this. It's a really large area.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell what it is. I think one of them said they think it might be like a small harbors, because
Yeah.
I mean, back then harbors were a lot different than they are today. I mean back then it wasn't really a thing. I mean, they would have to physically build it, but the thing I don't get is, why would they use rocks to create this structure thing? Because if it was a harbor, a ship needs water to sail the ship. So how would a ship be able to ride on rocks?
Well, supposedly they think that before the swamp was there, that it was a lot deeper, and it was two. It was the islands are two separate islands, so it gave the boats ability to pull in between both islands, and that's why they built this pathway. So when they unloaded stuff off the ship, they could just easily wheel it,
Oh, I see
carry,
where you go.
yeah, carry it away from the water. I guess that, but they think that they also, unloaded everything that they wanted to, and then they burnt the ship and then sunk what was left.
They burned it.
Yes, that's why they
I
found.
wonder why they did that.
That's why they found all the coal, because they didn't want anybody knowing they were there, or they didn't want people following them. I don't know the reason
weird.
why you would burn your only means of getting off the island was back then there wasn't any cars, so why would you burn your boat? I don't understand why they would do
The
that.
only way you could burn things back, like during that period of time, you would have to get a ton of wood and basically rub it together, and that's how you create a fire. That's the only way you could have done it. Or unless gasoline wasn't around there.
No, they need gasoline.
But they,
They showed they didn't have problems creating fire. But, it wasn't.
But why would you want to burn
That
a boat? That I don't get.
I don't know, but they were finding
That's
coal,
weird.
and they think that was because they set the boat on fire that they had. I don't know if that's true or not.
I mean, there's not really evidence of a boat there, because just because it's tiny sticks, it doesn't necessarily mean that there was a boat.
Like last year, or you don't see it last year. Last year they did a scan of the swamp, and they found like a large something under the swamp, but they don't know what it is. But it looks they thought it was like the shape of a boat, but they don't know for sure.
Oh, okay. So
What
then it
what,
might be.
what they haven't found a boat yet, but they did a scan, and they think it looked like a ship sideways underwater, but
So it
they didn't
looks
find
like
anything yet.
it looks like if they were gonna try and burn it, which they did, it must have burnt, and then maybe the way it sunk underwater, it probably landed on its side, probably. Or
It's
something.
possible. I mean, that's what they thought of, but they haven't found a boat yet. So who knows if that's actually true?
And I mean, I don't know who would want to go to that island during that period of time. I mean, who will want to be there? That's it, because there's so many. Didn't they say there were so many groups? Like they saw the British were there, and then like the Spanish and
Yeah, there's a different
Knights.
groups of people. The Knights Templar supposedly went
What
there.
language are they? The Knights Templar.
I don't know. What
They like
language.
French. They had to at least be
Yeah,
French,
they might have been. I don't know if they were.
because
I
usually
don't know what language they were. I mean,
because it wasn't English. Definitely
no, it
wasn't.
was no. They weren't from. No, they weren't from England. I don't recall exactly.
We'll have to do some research on it,
Yeah.
but it's just weird to me, like how they find this stuff like just sitting in the middle of this island, like I don't understand. Like first of all, who was, because like they're still trying to figure like, okay, who built this road? Who was it? Why were they here? And what was the purpose of it?
Yeah,
I mean, the only thing I can think of was maybe voyagers were in the waters, and maybe they were just traveling, and they saw this island, like, hey, there's no one's on here, let's bury our stuff.
Yeah,
on
I
it.
don't see why. That's the thing. Why did they bury their money? Like, I mean, build a money pit and put all this stuff in it.
Or
I don't
unless
understand what the point is of burying your treasure. I mean, if it's your treasure and it's worth money, why would you bury your own treasure?
yeah, why would you not want to keep it?
Yeah, it's like kind of like if if somebody gives you $1 million, you gotta spend it or what do you call it? Save it or invest it, or you gotta take it and go bury it in the backyard. Wouldn't make any sense.
yeah.
It wouldn't make any sense to go bury it. Like,
Or unless maybe someone buried it, maybe because maybe they wanted someone from the future to have it. Maybe
well, maybe or it could be that they took the treasure and it wasn't there, so to hide it from what was following them, they buried it. Knowing that these people would never find it if they buried it, but I don't know. There's no real evidence of them stealing
that's
the
a
treasure
good
and burying
theory.
it. But maybe that could be. I don't know. But It's really interesting. It seems like every week they're getting a little bit better. This season definitely has been better. They've been finding a lot of various items, and they've been finding all this wood everywhere, and it just adds a lot more to it. Than last season was kind of boring. They really didn't find a whole lot.
Yeah.
And the season before, I believe, it was the Smith's Cove where they found all this cool stuff buried, underwater. There was not on any map. There was no mention in anybody's journals from previous searches. Nobody mentioned it. So that was cool. They found something that nobody else knew was there. It seems to be the case this year with the swamp and finding of the rocks in the swamp or whatnot. So
Yeah.
I think that was pretty cool. So we're gonna see what happens next week.
Oh, and then the preview. So apparently they showed looks like some wood, and one of them said we're close to the money pit.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's just wood. I mean, it might be a tunnel, but at the same time, maybe these treasure hunters hid wood underneath just to trick people to think like, okay, you found it, but when you really look, it's like,
Could be.
oh, there's nothing there. But it's probably a tunnel, but who knows? And then they bring that thing that Gary found to the blacksmith guy. Remember? And he was talking about it. He's like, yeah, this was used to like pull a ship or something. Do you not remember?
No, you're they're talking about that thing we were just talking about.
Yeah, the preview for next week.
Yeah, dude, talk about that. I don't know what you call
The
it.
O-ring.
Yeah,
I'm gonna call it that until they find out what it really is.
Yeah, he said that was might be used for a mooring for a boat. When you park your boat, you hook it onto this. I don't know. It could be anything. I mean, we'll have to wait till, like I said, next week's episode. So every preview seems to seem exciting, and it's not as exciting as you would think it's going to be. But it is very interesting this season. It's very fascinating with what they've have uncovered so far.
Yeah, it's definitely intensifying. So
Yeah,
you're gonna have to wait till next week and see what happens.
Tune next Wednesday for another video. As long as they have another episode, we never know if they're gonna air an actual video episode or not. So we'll wait till next week to find out. And I think it's gonna do it. If you guys like this video, thoughts, comments about the Curse Book, I'll put them on down below. And as always, hit that like and subscribe.
Until next time.